Have you ever heard somebody say just because you move in don't mean you going nowhere?
That's how I feel right now in life. Life is really busy and I feel like I'm doing a whole lot and I'm not sure if I'm actually getting anything done.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to realize that you're kind of running yourself ragged, but really not getting any closer to joy, peace, or purpose.
And the thought is, for me, well, once I get this thing done, it'll clear the way. But what I'm realizing for each of those things that I'm like, well, once I get that done, there's about another 1,000 things on the list. So in this episode, what are we talking about, Dr. Reba?
So we are talking about what it means to be busy but not truly moving.
Welcome to the Smart Wellness Podcast. My name is Summer Esquerre, and I'm an ICF certified coach and a former corporate executive.
And I'm Dr. Reba Peoples, board certified psychiatrist, functional medicine practitioner, and emotional wellness strategist.
Actually, let me ask you this question. Is it possible to multitask? Is that a real thing?
So it's not possible to multitask. It is possible to context switch. So some people are very good at switching contexts, and other people, myself included, are not. So typically I am someone who does best if I'm able to fully complete a task before moving on to something else. Whereas if I get pulled away or distracted when I'm in the middle of something, it can be really hard to get my mind refocused on that task again in the future.
And can you share a little bit about what actually happens in the body when we try to multitask or focus on a lot of different things at once?
And I think it depends on the individual. So some people are just wired to be very good at context switching, where others are not. So we call that cognitive flexibility. So that is one of our core executive function skills. So people who are good at that actually thrive in environments where they do need to, switch tasks very quickly and, put out fires. Whereas other people like myself who aren't very good at that actually get very stressed in environments that do require a lot of constant switching of tasks or lots of surprises.
And from my perspective, one of the things that I've noticed, just being somebody who thought I'm a great multitasker, mm-hmm. I'm actually not in my body. Like I am disassociated with, I'm not present. I don't know what's going on. So, working from home during the pandemic and other times, I would be tending to a lot of different things, mm-hmm. caring for my children, working at the same time, putting together email, checking my text messages. And what I noticed is that time would pass where I didn't go to the bathroom. I didn't get a drink of water, where I'm not paying attention until my body actually stops me because I'm not present. Is that something that you see often with gifted and high achieving Black professionals in your work and working with folks?
Definitely. So I do see this sense of not fully being present in your own life. And I'm also seeing, a lot of people who are convinced that they have, ADHD, for example, because our society does expect so much. So we are expected to juggle lots of tasks and we're inundated with a lot of information. And that does really kind of stretch our capacity cognitively when we are expected to do so many things.
And I want to introduce a topic here, talking about executive functioning. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about tending to a lot of different topics, a lot of different things. And there is this buzzword or this terminology that's used related to executive functioning or people who have executive dysfunctioning. Mm-hmm. What does that even mean? And how does this play into being busy but not getting anywhere?
Mm-hmm. So kind of executive functioning skills are just those core skills that we need to get things done. So we can kind of break things down into a few big categories. So one big category would be things like planning. So being able to kind of prioritize what's important. So what needs to be done in what order in order to accomplish a task. Organization is a big executive function skill. So being able to access information or objects or whatever you need to accomplish your task efficiently. Other executive function skills would be, emotional regulation. So being able to be able to kind of tolerate and regulate big emotions, for example, impulse control. So sometimes it may be more tempting to scroll through social media than respond to the email that needs to go out at a certain deadline. So kind of we pull on those core skills in order to help us get things done.
And what I've heard one time, and I don't remember who said it, is that executive functioning is all of the things that we have to do every day, all day. Mm-hmm. So brushing our teeth, basic, taking care of ourselves, taking care of our family, paying for the tag for the car, paying the taxes, like all these different things, getting to work on time, planning for dinner. So the busyness makes sense. And it's also what is in our society right now. So do you have any recommendations from a smart wellness perspective of how do we pay attention to, or how do we help with that busyness? Because it's not going away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think a big thing that is important is to think about, your personal capacity. So kind of in mental health, we have this concept of a window of tolerance. So when you're operating within that window, you can handle what life throws at you. But if things, keep happening, that window can get more and more narrow. So things that, used to roll off your back when the window was wide might feel insurmountable during times when the window is narrow. So it is important to try to find ways to keep that window as wide as possible. And one of those ways is, incorporating those smart wellness principles. So when we think about SMART, those are the things that we do have control over to make sure we're as healthy as possible. So S is sleep, getting good quality sleep at night. Most of us are sleep deprived. The brain does the bulk of its repair work when we're in those deeper phases of sleep. M would be movement. So, physical activity, especially activity that gets your heart rate elevated. So that can be as effective as an antidepressant, at least for mild to moderate depression. So we do have this potent kind of internal pharmacy at our disposal just by moving our bodies. A is awareness. So having some form of mindfulness practice. So being, fully present in the moment without judgment. So people who have a consistent mindfulness practice actually start to restructure their brains. So the prefrontal cortex, so the part that is responsible for executive function, we actually get increased cortical density when people do have a regular, consistent mindfulness practice. The R is recognition. So really knowing who you are outside of the work that you do or the role that you play. And then T is tailoring inputs. So really thinking about, how you're feeding yourself, not only, nutritionally, so that is important, but also how you're feeding your mind, how you're feeding your spirit. So the people you surround yourself with, the media that you consume, quality of relationships. So, all of those things are feeding our consciousness, and your subconscious will believe whatever you tell it as long as you repeat it often enough. So really making sure you're consuming as much, life-affirming, positive messaging as possible. So those are some of the ways that we can kind of keep that window as wide as possible.
And so I want to go back to what you said about awareness. So here's one somatic practice that we invite you to try, to be curious about, see what you think about it. So a lot of people talk about meditation, it's too much, I can't do it. But I want to kind of just flip it on the script a little bit. And from an awareness standpoint, once a day, you get to pick the time of the day, set your timer for 5 minutes, and notice what you hear, right? It's not paying attention to trying to have a quiet mind. Notice, do you hear the birds chirping? Do you hear the subway outside your window? Do you notice children laughing? Do you notice a dog barking? Or the hum of your heater or your AC? Just take 5 minutes a day and notice what you hear. For those who have hearing impairment, you can do something else. And visually, you can spend 5 minutes taking the time to notice what you see, the colors that you see. To the left of me right now, there is a dark green wall. I also see a white plug, right? And so it's just taking the time to slow things down for awareness that is not asking you to have a quiet mind, that is not getting you to some Zen state. It's really just connecting to your body and noticing things that you haven't had an opportunity to notice before. And so that small kind of exercise will help somatically to tweak folks. We want to know what you think about it. Are you willing to practice 5 minutes? Does 5 minutes feel too big? Does 3 minutes sound more doable? Do it daily and do it for 14 days and let us know what you think. Please put comments in. Let us know if you have questions about it and also what you've noticed. Because what we're trying to do here is meet you where you're at. And we know where you're at because we live it, right? We have busy lives. We have busy schedules. We're co-founders. We're podcast reporters. We're human persons just trying to figure it out. And so what we are doing is inviting you to walk with us, to work with us, and spend some time. So we hope that you continue to be with us at Smart Wellness, understanding that healing is a hustle when wellness is not strategic. My name is Summer, and that's Dr. Reba, and we appreciate your time today.
And if you'd like to learn more, please be sure to visit us at smartwellnessglobal.com. There you can learn all about our Smart Wellness Reset. You can also learn how to work with us one-on-one, as well as information about our intensives and retreats. Thank you for joining us.